Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to go over this week's options watch list. Before I get into the watch list, if you're not in the room, you can find the link in the description of the video and in the bio section of social media. Now, we have obviously a short week. Today is Monday. The market's closed, so it's only going to be 4 days this week. We have FOMC on Wednesday. But it's not the one where you get the press conference with Powell speaking. It's just like just a little update. Nothing else is going to happen. So this FOMC is not going to be much of a factor. They're not going to raise rates. They're not going to do nothing. There's no Powell speech. I mean, there's no projections. So there's not much is going to happen. So, something could happen. I mean, they could still say something, make some kind of comment, but I don't think anything's going to happen. But anyways, with that said, like I said, if it's going to be a short week, so I don't imagine too much is going to happen this week. We'll have to see. I was hoping that we will actually see the market actually make some moves, but I don't know. We'll see. So I'm going to keep the list simple and short because of the short week. QCOM I already have up, so I might as well start with that. Now, I like QCOM if it can get over this 144 area. We can even say 143.50 and push to 145. It gets over this 145, it's probably going to go to gap resistance, which is 150, 151. So I'll watch QCOM for a push to 150, 151, even possibly even fill a gap if there's any strength behind it. Now DLTR, this thing can't seem to get out of its own way, but I think that eventually it's going to break this 102 area and it's going to fill a gap. The question is, it's a matter of when. So I'm just going to keep watching it and watching it. So I would watch it over, you can say 101 for push to 102. It gets over 102, it's probably going to fill the gap to 106, 107. So I would watch that. DLTR Tesla is another one I would watch. Got the wrong one. I always manage to type in that one. Now, the thing about Tesla that I'm kind of liking right here is on the daily, it's consolidating right underneath the 700. So if I can consolidate and break over this, we'll even say 696 area over 700, it's probably going to push to 750. So I would watch to see if Tesla can get some momentum this week and make a run to 750. So we'll have to see that. The weekly looks pretty good. I mean, it did hold the RCT trend line pretty good. And yeah, I could definitely possibly see 750 if that's the case. I mean, obviously you're going to have a little resistance. Let's see, 710, 725 would be a big number and stuff like that. So 750. I mean, you can get up to, let's see, 770, but we'll have to see if I can actually get out of this little range first. Next one is Home Depot. Let's see. Now, Home Depot, the reason I like this is I keep looking at the weekly. It came back down, tested the middle kill right here, the white line, and the RCT trend line, and a bounce. So usually when they do that, they end up going back to high a day or all-time high at this point. And it's just come out of oversold on the weekly. So I know, but on the daily, it's considered oversold. But I mean, look at that. It can stay oversold since it's been oversold on the daily since right here, and it just kept going. So that doesn't really matter much right there. But I would watch Home Depot over Friday's high, which is 323. You could even say 324. It gets over 324. It's probably going to push to get a little bit of resistance right here at the 328 area. Then you get 330. Let's see. You say 335, 336, then you get a gap fill right here at the 338, and you get all-time high at 345. So Home Depot gets any strength behind it, it can make a nice, pretty big move right here. So we could definitely see it come up and test the 326 to 330 if it can get any momentum over Friday's high. So definitely be watching that. Now I got SPY up now. SPY just keeps going and going. You would think eventually it would come back down and test this orange line, but it just keeps going and going. It keeps getting more disconnected from this orange line here on the hourly, and the daily it's staying relatively close to it, but on the weekly it's getting kind of disconnected from it. So anytime it gets too far away from it, like right here, it comes back down. So I think eventually it will come back down and retest that, but the question is when. Timing it is next to impossible. And last I looked, I'm looking right now, that the put to call ratio is 0.51, so it's getting kind of high on the put side, even though it's going up. So a lot of people are anticipating the drop, and usually when they have too many people on one side, that they end up doing the opposite. I mean the hourly RSI right here is like 80, 84, 80, 85. It's just ridiculously high. It needs to cool off. So we'll have to see if that's what it will do. Now, and one of the things is that SPY could chop, and the RSI could cool down just on the chop itself. So I'll have to watch for that. And SPY loves to chop, even though it's the market's close today. Futures is open. Even futures is chopping right now. It's kind of ridiculous. So we'll have to see what happens with SPY. But I would like to see it pull back this week, and I'd like to give numbers, but SPY could gap up huge overnight, and it just changed the whole perspective of the play. So that's why you need to be in the room, because the play changes by the gap ups overnight. So if it gaps up too high or too little, too high or too low, that it changes the dynamic of the play. So with that said, I mean, it's got a gap right here, the 430. It's got a fill, and it's got a gap right here in the 425 area. So I mean, it could definitely come back down to the 415 area. But like I said, it depends on what's going to happen. Now BA had bad news the other day, but BA is tricky. It can do whatever it wants, like it always does. So, but I'm looking at the inverted cup and handle right here. You get the cup and you get the handle right here, and I think it gets below this 235 area. I know the Friday's low is 233, but this is the sweet spot right here. 235 gets below that. You get this gap down here, the 230 area, and you get support right here. Let's see. Yeah, 230, and you get 220 right here. Then you get, let's say 210. I don't imagine it. Well, it could get to 200, but you never know. But you also get 200 right here, which is going to be a big psychological number for BA. So I'd watch BA on the short side. I know that the traveling numbers are up, but BA just is so tricky. I mean, bad news, it pops. Good news, it drops. I mean, BA is just very, very tricky, and I like to play it because it likes to lose all its gains. When it pops, it just likes to drop. So I'll be watching that. Now, BAMA is another one. Now, BAMA did the same thing I was talking about last week. It got to the middle Keltner channel right here, and it rejected. So had a nice little gap down. I'd watch it try to get pulled down to the 210 area, or even down to the 207, 208. So I would watch it underneath Friday's lows of we'll say 216 for a gap fill down to the 212, 210 area. Then you get the 208. Again, you get below the 208 area. 209, 208. I mean, you got right here 205, which is on the weekly right here. Now, if it gets below that, I mean, you got the next obviously big number will be 200. So I'll have to see if it can hold that. If it gets below 200, I mean, it could get down to the 195s, even 180. So Baba could get some momentum down. And I remember seeing something the other day that China regulations are kicking in again. So there might be more drama with the China stocks like Baidu and Baba and stuff like that. ROKU is another one. ROKU on the weekly, it's got a top tail candle right here, so I would watch it for a pullback this week. I would watch it underneath 427. Obviously, you can see a head and shoulders right here, left head, right shoulder right here on the hourly. So I'll watch it underneath 420, say 428, 427 for a push to the 423 area, 420, which will be a pretty big area. Then you have, let's see, the 406 area. Then you got 400. Obviously, that will be a big psychological number. Then you've got 390 and 380. You could come right down to the 380. So usually when Roku has some selling pressure, I mean, it makes some really big moves. So we could end up seeing a nasty 30-point drop on Roku this week. So I would definitely watch that. Now, I mean 30-point drop, I'm talking about the weekly. I'm talking about in a day. So Roku, when it does have a sell-off, it's usually pretty big. So I would be watching that. And the last one is Disney. Now, I know Disney had bad numbers out because we caught them on Friday, but it rebounded mostly. And this, I keep seeing this head and shoulders on the weekly. I mean, I thought the Friday news was gonna sink it, but it kind of got bought up right in this 170 area, 171. Where was it? Right here, 173 area, 174. It got bought up, but this head and shoulders, I just keep eyeing. I just keep thinking that it breaks this 170, it's gonna have a nice little push to the 150. So I would watch underneath Friday's lows. You can even say 175 for push to 173, 171, 170. Breaks at 170. You get this 168. Then you have this 162 area. Then it's down to the 150s. So we'll have to see if Disney will actually make a move in that direction. Now, it could go the other way. So a lot of these stocks could easily go the other way. So I'm also seeing an inverted head and shoulders on Disney too. You can see the left, the head, and the right. So you get a bullish pattern right here in the daily, and you get a bearish one on the weekly. So I'm going to keep in mind that it can go either way at this direction. And just pay attention. And if it does manage to get over the 178, 180, it can make a push to 185. So it does get to 185. I mean, it could get to the 188, possibly even 190. But we'll have to see. After Friday's numbers, I can't imagine too many people are going to be too bullish on it. But market makers like to pull tricks and trap people, so they can make it think everyone could be bearish on it, and they could just push it. So I mean, that's just how these market makers work. They just like to trick trap and everybody. So with that said, that's gonna do it for the watch list. I kind of feel like I rambled a little bit, but oh well. So please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hope to see you in the room. Thanks.